Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Srivastav and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video we write C++ code solution for LeetCode problem number 75, which is to sort colors. So before we begin, it is a request to please do subscribe to my channel. So let's begin. So we have problem number 75 of LeetCode sort colors. Take a minute and give this a reading. Okay. So you are given an array that contains either 0, 1 or 2 and you have to sort the array, right? And they are saying you have to solve this problem without using the library sort function. So I'm going to use two approaches to solve this problem. The first one is pretty simple, straightforward, and the second one is optimized following this requirement that you have to come up with a one pass algorithm. Okay, so in the first solution we'll use two passes, in the second solution we use one pass. So if you're looking for the second solution, you can directly skip on to the second part of the video. All right, so you are given an array that contains zeros, ones and twos, and you have to sort them. So basically all zeros comes first, then ones and then twos. So what you can do is you can count the number of zeros, ones and twos, because the array will either contain one of the three values only. And then you can fill the array with the zeros first, then ones and then twos. Okay, so if you take num zeros to count number of zeros, and similarly if you take num ones and num twos, you iterate each value in this nums. Okay, if I is 0, you increment num zeros plus plus. Then if you do I is 1, you do nums 1 plus plus, and if I equal to 2, you do nums 2's plus plus. Okay, so now we have to fill this vector nums by num zeros, these many zeros first, followed by these many ones, and then followed by these many twos. Okay, so I'm going to do fill zeros, and this is the part where we are using the second pass. So this single for loop is first pass, that is basically counting the number of zeros, ones and twos. The second pass basically fills the values zeros, ones and twos into this nums vector. Okay, so you can write a for loop I equal to 0, I is less than num zeros, and then fill zeros, and then you start with I equal to num zeros, I less than num 0 plus num ones to fill ones, and so on. But I'm going to use the inbuilt std fill method that I'm going to use to fill vector positions I to j with a given value. So I have to fill the first num 0 indices with 0. So I'm going to say nums dot begin. Okay, so it is an iterator, so starting from the first till nums of begin plus nums of num zeros. So these many zeros I need to add. Okay, so this says basically you have to fill from this to this with this value. That is saying fill first num 0 indices with the value 0. Similarly you can use, so I'll say fill once std fill. Okay, you have to fill once for the next num 1 indices. So your filling one starts from this index. Okay, so you say nums begin plus num zeros, and you have to go till zeros plus ones, and you have to fill ones. So we filled ones, then similarly we fill twos. So we start filling twos from num zeros plus num ones, and we go till the end. Okay, and we fill 2. Okay, all right, and that is your code. So testing this, submitting this, okay, runs. All right, this is the first approach. Moving on to the second approach, let me just write the code for the second approach that will use a single pass. Okay, and then I'm going to explain it using examples. All right, so the idea is you are given three values 0, 1 and 2. So suppose you are given balls of different colors that denote, say, red, white and blue. Okay, so if you are given a line of these balls and you have to arrange in red, white and blue, so what you're going to do is you are going to pick up all the red ones, place it at the left hand side so that they come at the beginning of the line. Then you pick up the blue balls, put it at the end. So eventually the white ones will automatically come in between. Red balls are at the start of the line, white ones are in the middle, and blue ones are at the end of the line. Okay, and that is the exact idea we use. We have an array of zeros, ones and twos. So as we iterate the array, if we find a 0, we put it at the front. If we find a 2, we put it at the end. If we find a 1, we leave it as it is. Because when you're putting zeros at the front, you're putting twos at the end, the ones will automatically come in between, and that is the idea. Let me just complete the code first. When we move on to examples, this will be much clearer. Okay, so we have to start putting zeros from the front of the line. So I'm going to say index 0, from where at which you have to start putting 0 is going to be the first index. Alright, if you have red, white and blue, reds should start from the first beginning of the line. Similarly, blue should start from the end of the line. So we say int index 2 is nums dot size -1. Okay, we put zeros at the front of the array, we put 2's at the end of the array. As we put zeros, we increment index 0. As we put 2's at the end, we decrement index 2. We keep going left. Alright, and then we keep an index I to iterate the array. So I'm going to say while I less than equal to index 2. Okay, so I is going to iterate from left to right. Okay, if it finds a 0, it is going to put it at the front. If it finds a 2, it is going to put it at the end using index 0 and index 2 respectively. If it finds a 1, it is going to skip it. Alright, and we stop here because when I crosses index 2, it means we have put all the 2's at the end, and consequently all the zeros will be at the front, all the 1's will be at the middle. Okay, so if I have my nums of I equal to 0, I have to put this 0 at the front, put this 0 at the front. So we have to put this 0 at this particular index I to this index 0. So we have to swap index 0 and index I. So we can say swap, or just to be clearer, std swap. I'll say nums of I and nums of index 0. Okay, and as we put a 0 at the front of the array, we have to increment index 0. So I say index 0 plus plus, and I also moves forward. Okay, else if we have nums of I equal to 1, we don't do anything. We simply say I plus plus move on. Okay, else this is the part where your nums of I equal to 2. So when nums of I equal to 2, you have to put this particular 2 at this index I at the end of the array, at this index 2. So you say swap index 2 with I. Okay, alright, so the value 2 at this particular index I goes to index 2, and the whatever value was at index 2 comes to this particular index I, and then you do index 2 minus minus. In this case, we don't do I plus plus because we don't know what value we swapped from index 2. Because if the value that was swapped from position index 2 to this particular index I, if that is a 0, you have to put it at the front of the array. That's why we don't do I plus plus, otherwise we skip this value and 0 will not go to the front of the array. Okay, that's why I stays there, and in the next iteration, if it is 0 or 1 or 2, it is processed accordingly. Alright, and that's your algorithm. Okay, in short, think of 0, 1 and 2's in front of you. You keep picking zeros and you put it at the front of the array. You keep picking 2's and put it at the end of the array. So consequently, the remaining value 1's will come at the center of the array. Alright, so if you have multiple balls of 3 different colors, put them randomly on a line and follow this color scheme. Pick up one color, put it at the front, pick up one color, put it at the end, and eventually the third color will come at the middle. Alright, okay, time to test this. Okay, and submitting this. Okay, so this is your single pass, only one for loop. In the previous example, you were using one for loop, and this fill also is an algorithm itself that uses iterators to fill from starting iterator to ending iterator. Okay, now let me quickly explain this second algorithm using this example. Okay, so I have 2 0 2 1 1 0, and I have index 0 as 0, index 2 as this is 0 1 2 3 4 5, size is 6, so index 2 is going to be 5, and my I starts at 0. I starts here. Okay, I found a 2. If I found a 2, I put it at the end. Okay, but I don't move I forward. If I find 2, so this is my array. Alright, I is here at index 0. Okay, I have found 2. I'm gonna swap it with this value because my index 2 is here. I'll use I2 short for index 2. Okay, swap 0 and 5, so you get 0 0 2 1 1 2, all right, and I2 comes here. Okay, I will stay here. Remember when we swap 2, okay, I stays there, I does not move forward. Okay, all right, so index 0 stays at 0, index 2 moves to 4, I stays at 0. All right, in the next iteration I is still here at 0 at this index 0. Okay, where you find a 0, so if you find a 0 you have to put it at the front of the array, so you have to put it where index 0 is, which is at 0, and then you have to increment both. So basically index 0 becomes 1, I becomes 1, so I comes here. Okay, okay, and I0, index 0 is also at 1. Okay, placing the first 0 at the front of the array. All right, then you do your iteration again. I is less than equal to I2 is the condition, so here 1 is less than equal to 4 is true. Okay, you have 0, you put it where I0 index 0 is, so basically at the same indices, they are both pointing to the same indices, so you increment both. Okay, and they both come here. I0 is 2 and I is 2. Right, and 2 less than equal to 4 is 2, so your iteration continues. Okay, you have 2 here. When you have 2, you put it at the end where index 2 is, so you put it here. Okay, so basically 0 0, then 2 goes to index 4 and 1 comes to index 2, so 1 1 2 2, right. uh, I2 will come here, becomes 0 1 2 3 4 5. Your I will stay at the same position when you are swapping 2, so I stays here and I2 is at 2. All right, I stays at 2 when you're swapping 2. This becomes 3 because you are putting a 2 at the end of the array. All right, okay, so I is at 2, 2 is less than equal to 4 is still true. You have 1 here now in the iteration. You have 1, you simply increment I becomes 3 now. Okay, I becomes 3, 3 less than equal to 3 is true. Okay, again we have 1 here. At 1 we simply increment I becomes 4, I becomes 4, 4 less than equal to 3 is false. Loop breaks and this is the array you get, 0 0 1 1 2. Right, in very short what you are doing is, if you think of 2 0 to 1 1 0, okay, you pick up 0 and put it at the front, it comes here. You pick up 0, you put it at the front, it comes here. You pick up 2, put it at the end, it comes here. You pick up 2, you put it at the end, it comes here. That is the idea, and that is what we are doing in the code. Okay, let's take another example. So we have 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, 9 values. Index 2 starts at size minus 1, index 0 starts at 0, I starts at 0, I less than equal to I2 is a condition, so 0 is less than equal to 8 is true. So your array right now 1 0 2, I'll leave out the commas. Okay, 1 0 2 0 2 1 1 2 0, at indices 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Right, your I is here, your I0 is here, your I2 is here. Okay, you found a 1, you skip, you simply move on to the next index. So I comes, I0 stays here, I comes here, I becomes 1. You found a 0, you put it at I0, so this now becomes 0 1 2 0 2 1 1 2 0. Your I0 was at 0, I0 comes here, I moves forward, I2 is still here. Okay, all right, I0 moved forward, I moved forward. Okay, I2 is still here, 2 less than equal to 8 is still true for these indices. Okay, you found a 2, you put it at the end. When you put it at the end, you swap this and the value at I2. So you swap 0 1 2 with 0 at index 2 and 8. Okay, so this becomes 0 0 2 1 1 2 2. Okay, your I0 is still here, your I stays here because when you swap a 2 you do not move I. and your I2 comes here, I2 minus minus because you put a 2 here for indices 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Okay, so I stays there, index 0 also stayed there, this went minus minus. Okay, so now 2 less than equal to 7 is still true, so we keep moving. We have a 0, so we put it at I0. So we have a 0, we put it at I0, so these two are swapped. So we have 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. Alright, I0 move forward, I move forward, so I comes here, I0 comes here, I2 stays here at indices 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 less than equal to 7 is still true. Okay, again you found a 0 here, you put it at I0, so these two are swapped, so you have 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2 at indices 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I2 is here, I0 moves forward to 3. Okay, because you are placing a 0, I also move forward, I became 4, I comes here. Okay, 4 less than equal to 7 is still true. Okay, again you have 2, so you put it at the end, so you put it where this I2 is, so these two are swapped, so you have 0, 0, 0, 1, 2 is swapped with 2, so the array remains the same, but your I2 now comes here. I stays here because we do not know if we swapped a 0, 1 or 2, in this case 2, so I stayed there when we are swapping a 2, and I0 is still here at 3. Okay, so I2 became became minus minus, became 6, I stays here, I0 stays there. Okay, I stays at 4. Again we have a 2 here, we put it at the end where I2 is, so these two are swapped, so 0, 0, 0, then 1, then 1, then 1, then 2, then 2, 2. Alright, and we have I0 at 3. Okay, I is at 4 only because we put 2 at the end. When you are putting 2 at the end, I stays there. I2 minus minus, so I2 is at 5. I2 became 5, I stays at 4. 4 less than equal to 5 is still true. Okay, I is at 4, I2 is at 5. Alright, now we have 1 here. We have 1 here, so we simply move forward. I comes here, I becomes 5. Alright, I2 and I0 stay the same. 5 less than equal to 5, I less than equal to I2 is still true. We have 1 here, again simply I moving forward. So I2 is at 5, I came at 6 now. Okay, now 6 greater than equal to 5 is now false, loop breaks, and this is what you get as your resulting array. Okay, alright, again in very short, if you put all these values 1, 0, 2, 0, 2, 1, 1 and 2, 0. In very simple words, go from left to right. If you find a 0, put it at the front. If you find a 2, put it at the end. You found a 0, put it at the front. You found a 2, put it at the end. You found a 0, put it at the front. You found a 2, put it at the end. You found a 1, stay there. You found a 1, stay there. You found a 2, put it at the end. You found a 0, put it at the front. So you get 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so this is your solution, C++ solution to problem number 75, sort colors. Okay, so I hope you like this video and this was helpful. So if there's any doubt, there's a part you do not understand, please let me know in the comments. I always try to answer all your comments. You can always let me know in the comments if there's a question you want me to solve or if there's a concept you want to discuss. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.